The empty glass. In a small weathered cottage nestled amidst a sea of emerald hills, lived Sarah, a mother whose eyes held the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. Her son Daniel bore the burden of an alcoholic's life. Days turned into nights as he drowned his sorrows in the amber embrace of a bottle, while his mother watched, her heart heavy with despair. One cold winter evening, Sarah felt the weight of her years, her frail body betraying her spirit. She knew that time was running out, and she couldn't bear the thought of leaving her son behind in such a desolate state. Gathering her strength, she called Daniel to her bedside. With trembling hands, she handed him a crystal-clear glass, exquisite and untouched by the ravages of time. It was the most beautiful glass Daniel had ever seen. She spoke, her voice soft as a whisper carried by the wind. "Daniel, my dear, this glass represents your life." Daniel looked puzzled, his bloodshot eyes fixed on the glass. "What do you mean, Mom?" Sarah's eyes, filled with a mother's love, locked onto his. "Imagine your life as a vessel, my son. It starts empty, pure, and full of potential. Every experience, every choice is a drop that fills this glass." Daniel's gaze shifted from the glass to his mother, his heart aching with a mix of sorrow and curiosity. Sarah continued, "For years you've been filling your glass with the poison of alcohol, my son. It has consumed your days, your dreams, and your potential. Look at it now, nearly overflowing with regrets, missed opportunities, and lost time." Daniel's eyes welled up with tears as he looked at the glass, the weight of his choices becoming painfully clear. Sarah reached out, her hand trembling as she touched his cheek. "But it's not too late, my love. You still have time to empty this glass and fill it with the things that truly matter. Love, laughter, dreams, and purpose." She paused, her voice quivering. "Promise me, Daniel, that you'll change the course of your life. Empty this glass of despair and fill it with the beauty and joy that this world has to offer." Tears streamed down Daniel's face as he clutched the glass in his hand, the magnitude of his mother's message sinking in. "I promise, Mom, I'll change. I'll empty this glass and fill it with the good stuff." In the weeks that followed, Daniel sought help for his addiction, attending support groups and therapy. He rekindled old friendships, discovered new passions, and began rebuilding the relationships he had lost. Slowly but surely, he was emptying that glass of despair and filling it with love and hope. As the seasons passed, Sarah watched her son transform. Her heart swelled with pride and joy as he became the man she had always known he could be. In her final moments, surrounded by the warmth of her son's love, she whispered her last words. "Remember, my dear, life is too precious to be wasted on regrets. Fill your glass with the love and laughter that this world offers. Cherish every moment, for it is a gift. And when the time comes for you to leave this world, may your glass be empty, but your heart be full." With those words, Sarah closed her eyes, leaving behind a legacy of love, a lesson learned, and a glass, now empty of despair, waiting to be filled with the beauty of life. Daniel held that glass close, a reminder of his mother's love and the profound lesson that had changed his life forever.
In the quiet, picturesque town of Willowbrook, nestled in the shadow of dense, ancient woods, there lived an old man named Samuel. Samuel had seen a century of seasons pass, and had lived a life full of stories, some happy, some sad, but one story in particular he had kept hidden away, locked in the depths of his heart until his final days drew near. As Samuel lay on his deathbed, his son David sat by his side, offering comfort in the twilight of his father's life. The room was bathed in the soft glow of a flickering lamp, casting eerie shadows on the walls. With a trembling voice and eyes filled with sorrow, Samuel began to tell a tale he had never shared before. "David," Samuel whispered, "I need you to know something I've kept hidden for far too long." He paused to catch his breath, the weight of his words hanging heavily in the room. "Many years ago," he continued, "when I was just a young man, I ventured deep into the woods that border our town. I was adventurous, curious, and full of dreams. One day, as I roamed deeper than ever before, I stumbled upon an ancient, gnarled tree, unlike any I had ever seen." His voice quivered as he recounted the strange encounter. The tree was massive, its trunk twisted and contorted, and it seemed to beckon to me. As I approached, I noticed something peculiar. a small weathered door nestled within its bark. It looked like it belonged in a fairy tale. The room seemed to grow colder as Samuel's story unfolded. I couldn't resist the urge to open the door, and to my astonishment, it revealed a hidden chamber inside the tree. It was a room filled with odd relics, symbols, and writings I couldn't decipher. But what chilled me to the bone was the feeling that I wasn't alone in that chamber. It was as if a presence watched me from the shadows. David's eyes widened as he listened intently to his father's tale. He had never heard this story before, and it both intrigued and unnerved him. "David," Samuel continued, "I left that chamber, fearing the eerie presence I felt. But I could never forget it. Over the years, I've felt its influence in my life. Strange occurrences, unexplainable coincidences, and even the tragedies that befell our family." As Samuel's breathing grew shallower, he looked into David's eyes with a mixture of regret and urgency. "My son, I must confess, I believe I unleashed something that day, something ancient and malevolent, and it's haunted our family ever since. I need you to promise me that you will confront this darkness, find the chamber in that tree, and put an end to whatever curse I've unknowingly passed down." With those haunting words, Samuel closed his eyes and took his final breath, leaving David with a chilling legacy to unravel. In the following weeks, David embarked on a journey into the depths of the woods, determined to uncover the truth behind his father's harrowing story and free his family from the shadowy curse that had haunted them for generations. This tale serves as a cautionary reminder that sometimes the past holds secrets that must be confronted, no matter how terrifying, to find redemption and closure for future generations.
The Wooden Box of Wisdom. In a quaint little cottage at the edge of a dense forest, there lived an old man named Samuel. Samuel was a man of few words, but possessed a wisdom that seemed to have been carved into the very fibers of his being. His grandson Ben adored him, and often visited to hear his stories and gain insights about life. One sunny afternoon, as golden rays filtered through the trees, Samuel beckoned Ben over. He handed him a small wooden box, weathered by time and adorned with intricate carvings. The box held an air of mystery, and Ben's curiosity was piqued. With a faint smile, Samuel said, "This box contains the most valuable lesson I can impart to you, my boy. It's time for you to open it." Ben delicately opened the box, revealing a single, ordinary-looking stone. He looked at his grandfather in confusion. "A stone, Grandpa?" Samuel nodded. "This stone represents life, Ben. Its smooth surface represents the moments of peace and joy, while its rough edges symbolize the challenges and hardships that we all face." Ben frowned, still puzzled. "But Grandpa, why is it just a plain stone?" Samuel chuckled softly. "Ah, my boy, it's not just any stone, it's the stone of perspective." Curiosity now burning, Ben listened intently. Samuel continued, "You see, life is like this stone. How you view it, how you perceive it makes all the difference. If you focus only on the rough edges, the hardships, and the struggles, you'll miss the beauty of the smooth surface, the moments of happiness, love, and laughter." Ben began to understand. "So, it's about perspective, about choosing what we focus on." Samuel nodded, his eyes sparkling with wisdom. "Exactly, my dear boy. Life will have its ups and downs, but it's up to you to decide which parts you carry with you. You can choose to let the rough edges define you, or you can cherish the moments of beauty and happiness, no matter how small." Years passed, and Ben grew into a young man. He carried the wooden box and the stone of perspective with him everywhere he went, a constant reminder of his grandfather's wisdom. Life presented its challenges, heartbreak, loss, failures, but Ben always remembered to shift his perspective, to find the smooth moments amid the rough edges. He found joy in the simple things: a warm cup of tea on a rainy day, the laughter of friends, the beauty of a sunrise. One day, as Ben sat by his grandfather's bedside, Samuel whispered his final words. "Remember, my dear Ben, life is a stone of perspective. It's not the challenges that define us, it's how we choose to see them." With those words, Samuel closed his eyes, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and a lesson that would guide Ben throughout his life. As the years rolled on, Ben grew old, passing the wooden box and the stone of perspective to his own grandchild, a wide-eyed child eager to learn. And so, the wisdom of Samuel lived on. A reminder that in the journey of life, it's not the rough edges that define us, but the perspective we choose to hold in our hearts. The perspective of finding beauty, joy, and love, no matter the circumstances. A crown of choices. Once upon a time, in a kingdom known for its opulence and grandeur, lived Princess Isabella. She was the epitome of grace and beauty, with cascading golden locks and eyes that sparkled like the stars. Yet, despite her privileged life, she felt trapped within the gilded cage of royalty. Prince Edward, the heir to the throne, was destined to marry Isabella and solidify the kingdom's alliances. It was a loveless union, orchestrated for political gain. Isabella's heart yearned for something more, something genuine. One crisp morning, as the sun painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, Isabella decided to escape the confines of the palace. Disguised in plain attire, she ventured into the bustling market of the kingdom, eager to experience life beyond the palace walls. Amidst the colorful stalls and haggling merchants, Isabella's eyes fell upon a humble baker's shop. There stood a man named Lucas, with flour-dusted hands and a warm smile. He was everything the prince was not: humble, kind, and full of life. Isabella found herself returning to the bakery day after day, savoring the simple pleasures of freshly baked bread and engaging in conversations with Lucas. They laughed, shared stories, and found solace in each other's company. As the weeks passed, their friendship blossomed into a love neither could deny. Isabella knew that pursuing her heart's desire would come at a great cost, but her love for Lucas was a fire that could not be extinguished. One moonlit night beneath a sky adorned with stars, Isabella confessed her love to Lucas. He too had fallen deeply for the princess, and they vowed to keep their love a secret, a forbidden flame that flickered in the shadows. But secrets have a way of unraveling, especially within the confines of a palace. Rumors began to swirl, whispers of the princess's clandestine affair with a commoner. Prince Edward, ever watchful, grew suspicious. One fateful day, as Isabella and Lucas met in their secret garden hideaway, they were discovered by Prince Edward. His rage was palpable, his jealousy consuming him. He confronted Isabella, demanding she end her affair with Lucas. Torn between her duty and her heart's desire, Isabella faced an impossible choice. She knew that her love for Lucas could never be accepted within the confines of royalty, and she couldn't bear to see him harmed. With a heavy heart, she decided to sacrifice her own happiness to protect him. Isabella confessed her love for Lucas and the impossible choice she faced. Tears welled in both their eyes as they said their painful goodbyes, promising to cherish the memories they had created. In the years that followed, Isabella fulfilled her royal duties, marrying Prince Edward as expected. But her heart remained heavy, and the weight of her choices was a burden she carried. One day, as she gazed out of the palace window, she saw Lucas in the distance, a successful baker with a family of his own. He had moved on, finding happiness in his own way. Isabella realized that sometimes life's choices were not between right and wrong, but between two paths, each with its own set of sacrifices. She had chosen duty, but Lucas had chosen love, and both had found their own forms of happiness. Isabella's heart ached, but she knew that the love she had shared with Lucas had changed her forever. It had taught her the value of authenticity, the beauty of simplicity, and the power of following one's heart, even in the face of adversity. And so, in the grand tapestry of life, Princess Isabella's story became a bittersweet reminder that love could be found in unexpected places, and that sometimes the hardest choices we make shape our destinies in ways we never imagined. In the bustling little town of Midville, there were two business owners who couldn't have been more different: Sam Morgan and Jack Thompson. They ran rival stores, each vying for the attention of the townsfolk. Sam owned Sam's Emporium, a quirky general store filled with oddities and eccentricities, while Jack was the proprietor of Thompson's Treasures, a sophisticated boutique specializing in high-end products. One sunny morning, as the scent of fresh pastries wafted from the bakery next door, the tension between Sam and Jack reached its breaking point. They stood in the narrow alley between their stores, shouting over a sandwich board that Sam had accidentally placed just a smidge over the imaginary boundary that divided their territories. "Sam, this is absurd," Jack bellowed, his finely tailored suit contrasted by Sam's mismatched attire. "You can't just keep encroaching on my space." "Jack, my dear friend, it's just a bit of friendly competition," Sam retorted with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. "Besides, you've got to admit my collection of rubber chickens is quite the crowd pleaser." Jack huffed, his frustration palpable. "That may be, but it's hardly in keeping with the refined atmosphere I've cultivated in my store." The argument escalated, with each owner hurling insults and accusations at the other, and a small crowd of onlookers began to gather. It seemed that Midville was on the brink of witnessing a full-scale retail war. As they continued to argue, an unexpected downpour of rain suddenly drenched them both. Their fiery debate came to an abrupt halt as they looked around, realizing that the crowd had dispersed, and they were now the laughingstock of the town, standing in the middle of the alley drenched to the bone. Sam couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. "Well, Jack, it seems Mother Nature has given her verdict on our little spat." Jack begrudgingly laughed too, realizing the comical turn of events. "Perhaps we've both been a bit too passionate about this." They retreated to the cozy bakery next door, where the warm aroma of freshly baked bread enveloped them. As they sat at a table by the window, they began to chat, not about their stores, but about their lives and interests outside of business. To their surprise, they discovered they had more in common than they could have imagined. Both were avid collectors, though their tastes differed widely. Sam collected vintage board games and bizarre knickknacks, while Jack had a penchant for rare books and antique silverware. They shared stories of their most treasured finds and found themselves laughing over shared experiences. Weeks passed, and Sam and Jack's rivalry evolved into a friendly banter. Sam once adorned his shop with a Thompson's Treasures banner as a prank, and Jack retaliated by filling Sam's storefront with helium balloons one morning. Their antics kept the townsfolk entertained and brought a light-hearted spirit to Midville. One sunny afternoon, as they stood outside their stores, Sam turned to Jack and said, "You know, Jack, maybe we've been looking at this rivalry all wrong. Instead of competing, what if we joined forces?" Jack raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" "Well," Sam grinned, "imagine combining the quirkiness of Sam's Emporium with the sophistication of Thompson's Treasures. We could create something entirely unique, a store that appeals to everyone in town." Jack considered the idea, and as he did, he realized that Sam might be onto something. They spent the next few weeks brainstorming, designing, and transforming their stores into a collaboration that was unlike anything Midville had ever seen. The newly rebranded Sam and Jack's Emporium of Treasures featured an eclectic blend of high-end antiques and whimsical oddities. The townsfolk flocked to the store, drawn by the irresistible charm of two unlikely friends turned business partners. Their store became a sensation, drawing visitors from neighboring towns and even catching the eye of a travel magazine. Sam and Jack's newfound friendship and collaborative spirit had not only revitalized their businesses, but it also revitalized the spirit of Midville itself. As they sat on the porch one sunny afternoon sipping lemonade, Sam turned to Jack and said, "Who would have thought that a rivalry could lead to the best friendship and business partnership I've ever had?" Jack nodded, a genuine smile on his face. "Indeed, Sam. Sometimes the most unexpected friendships are the ones that bring the most joy." And so, in the quirky little town of Midville, where oddities and sophistication blended seamlessly, the tale of Sam and Jack served as a reminder that even the fiercest rivals can become the dearest of friends, and that sometimes the best partnerships are born from a little bit of humor, a touch of humility, and a dash of unexpected friendship.
Once upon a time in the charming town of Meadowville, there lived a young woman named Lily, who had a unique knack for getting into humorous situations. She was known far and wide for her infectious laughter and her ability to find joy in the quirkiest of circumstances. One sunny Saturday morning, Lily decided to visit the local farmer's market. As she strolled among the vibrant stalls, she couldn't help but notice a particularly attractive vendor selling the most delicious-looking strawberries she had ever seen. His name was Jack, and he had a smile that could rival the sunshine itself. Lily, never one to be shy, approached the stall with an enthusiastic, "Hello there?" Her heart raced a little as she tried to strike up a conversation with the handsome strawberry seller. Jack, caught off guard by Lily's exuberance, couldn't help but chuckle. He replied with a warm, "Hello, are you a fan of strawberries?" Lily, in her excitement, decided to express her love for strawberries in the most dramatic way possible. She grabbed a plump strawberry from the basket, held it up to her mouth, and pretended to serenade it. She sang, "Oh, sweet strawberry, you make my heart very happy." Her voice was surprisingly melodious, and she put on an impromptu performance that left everyone around them in stitches. Jack burst into laughter, and the people at the market couldn't help but join in. Lily had unwittingly created a delightful spectacle that had everyone laughing and clapping. It was a moment of pure, unbridled joy. As the laughter subsided, Lily and Jack struck up a genuine conversation. They discovered that they shared a love for cheesy jokes, quirky hobbies, and of course strawberries. Their connection deepened over the weeks as they spent more time together, laughing about life's absurdities and enjoying each other's company. Their love story wasn't like the ones in romantic movies, but it was real and filled with laughter. Lily and Jack's relationship was built on the foundation of joy, and their shared sense of humor bound them together like a sweet strawberry jam. They continued to find humor in every situation, reminding themselves that a good laugh was the key to a happy life. And so, Lily and Jack's love story began with a laughter-filled serenade to a strawberry, proving that sometimes the most unexpected and amusing moments can lead to the deepest and truest connections.